get devoured. It's the power, LSU with Carter. It's the power, LSU with Carter.
Alrighty, giving you our best. Let's freaking go on a glorious Thursday. LSU fans, we are so dang close to the start of the season, and I want to start off the true freshman that can have the biggest impact on LSU next season. Let me know down below who you believe. I do think the recruiting rankings got it right. The three that will have the biggest impact are the three that are the highest rated. The services have gotten better, and this has been a pretty wild topic, starting with Preston Guy's epic rant on our show on Sunday. Stars do matter, and the 3 5-stars are the ones that we will start off talking about tonight. With, to me, the one that had a bunch of positive movement this week was Harlem Berry at practice, getting some work in theory ahead of Caleb Jackson this past weekend. It is interesting that a guy like Harlem Berry has so much speed, so much elusiveness. He's like a slalom skier with the football in his hands. He is so much fun to watch, and I do believe he will get touches early and often. Might not be too much in the Clemson game, but this could be a situation where, like Caden Durham, he starts getting work early in the year and he doesn't look back, and he is a part of the offense for the rest of the year. And then you have the thumbnail image, Mr. Carius Kern, friend of the channel, Arkansas native, if you will, from Marion all the way up next to Memphis. Yes, Marion is literally right next to Memphis, Tennessee. I got to meet Carius, I've gotten to know him a little bit. And I'll be honest, I've not talked to him since the beginning of camp. It is very interesting that LSU has had some guard issues. I do think LSU felt better about the guard position. I will also say, based on what I said last night, that I did get information that maybe, just maybe, as talking heads are overvaluing the issues at guard this year. So maybe the LSU guard position will be just fine going into next year. And then, of course, you have the great DJ Pickett, who I think is the obvious answer. I think he's a guy that will play a lot versus Clemson, no doubt in my mind. So there have been different reports out there that DJ Pickett is going to start snap one versus Clemson. Our guest coming up here in just a moment, Mr. Blake Ruffino, has strongly refuted that. I really don't know how big of a deal it is, because I do see a world where Montsor Delane plays all the snaps and you have a rotating door at that other corner position in a guy like Ashton Stamps, who started most of last year alongside DJ Pickett. For me personally, I would prefer DJ Pickett to play the role, because I think Ashton Stamps is better served actually at a different position. I would love to see him as a quasi nickel in this Blake Baker scheme. And obviously that position will fluctuate quite a bit this year, depending on the matchup. Right now, Harold Perkins is playing that star role, which essentially is the nickel. So, those are the big three. I do want, though, to give you the deep cut. Some of it is how I feel about the kid. Some of it also is pretty simple. I have heard really strong things from this player. He is in the middle tier 4-star range, and his name is CJ Jim Coyley. I believe CJ Jim Coyley is a good fit for what Blake Baker wants to do. I think of the 5 linebackers that they brought in, the one that fits the Harold Perkins role as he back up to Perk is CJ Jim Coyley. Kind of this hybrid safety linebacker type. He played more safety in high school than he did compared to linebacker, but 247 and on 3 had him labeled as a linebacker. That is the role he's playing right now for LSU. CJ Jim Coyley is so interesting to me. Plenty athletic, has a really good build, and honestly was probably one of the least talked about recruits in this past cycle. But there is a lot of CJ Jim Coyley steam going into this next season. Brian Kelly mentioned Charles Ross as well with his ridiculous amount of speed at the linebacker position. I'm really excited about Charles Ross as well, but CJ Jim Coyley is a name that you have to look out for. Now, what's very interesting in particular about linebacker is a very difficult position to get right. And during the Brian Kelly era, it's been a bit of an issue trying to figure out who the best linebackers actually are for LSU. It really has been. You had the Mike Jones era, where Mike Jones was a very good player for Clemson. I mean, very good. And let's be honest, he wasn't bad at LSU. He was a good locker room guy. He was a team leader, a guy that spoke for LSU at SEC Media Days. But as an every down linebacker, he was not that. So they moved on from him. Then you had the Omar Speight saga. And then, of course, you had the Harold Perkins saga. So picking the correct linebacker has always been kind of tough. You know, these past couple of seasons, obviously as a true freshman, you're not going to play him. But last year, one of my bolder calls was Whit Weeks being a superstar for LSU. I said it actually on Blake's show, not this one. And he was really good. So we know he's going to be really good this year. It would take a miracle for Whit Weeks to not be what we know he can be, which is a superstar. And I do think, I don't like to use that word lightly. He is a superstar to me. I think he's that good. We do need to do a better job of game-to-game consistency and make sure we don't just have the home run games, which we had from Whit Weeks last year. You had the Arkansas games. You had the Ole Miss games where he was nothing short of spectacular. And then you had some hiccups versus Florida, some hiccups versus South Carolina. So a game-to-game consistency is what we're looking for next year from Whit, while also mixing in those Devin White types of performances. And I know that that is a bold claim to put Whit Weeks in the same sentence as Devin White, but his peak was as good as Devin White's peak. It really was. The Arkansas and Ole Miss games were really that good. So we know he's going to be one of the linebackers, but who is going to be the linebacker next to him? Obviously, it's not going to be Harold Perkins. I do see him potentially playing some traditional linebacker role outside of the nickel star role. Will it be Devon Keys, who was the one that finished last year? And by the way, early in the season, LSU was leaning more to the player who is now at Auburn, a guy that's been on this channel before, Xavier Debo-Atkins. They were leaning more in that direction for him to play, and then Devon Keys jumped him. So linebacker is a very tough position to evaluate. It's really, really, really hard to see who the best ones are. All right, so that's part of the reason why LSU brought in 5 off-ball linebackers that have 5 different skill sets. Jaden Breaker's one of them. CJ Jim Coyley's another. Another Weeks bro is in there, along with Charles Ross and Keelan Moses. So you have some strong genetics mixed in there, in particular Weeks, the younger brother of Whit. And then, of course, Moses, the younger brother of Dylan, who a lot of you don't like, and that's okay. Dylan was a great player at Alabama. So I just want to put CJ Jim Coyley as my 4th. Who are your 4 true freshmen that you're looking out for this next year? And I'm talking about true freshmen, not transfers, right? Guys that will step in and give you something, all right? Now, you go down the list. JT Lindsey, a guy who just got there. What if we are just overlooking some of these other defensive backs that LSU brought in? Aiden Anding, a guy that's not been playing football for too long. What about a guy like Jace Thomas and Jacob Bradford? Jacob Bradford's listed as a safety. He played corner at Catholic. 5'11", 195. Jace Thomas, 6'1", 180. Son of a former Saint. So maybe there's a few other true freshmen that are flying way under the radar, but this is a year, as is most years, that your best true freshmen are the 3 highest rated true freshmen. Okay. Now, for me, on my own grading scale, Carius Kern was my number 1 guy. That's why he's the thumbnail image. You go to Patreon, you could get my full grades, guys that I'm higher on and guys that I'm not as high on as others. But mostly, though, every single player to me looks fine. It looks like someone that could turn into something. Now, I also want to say thank you guys for making PHL so damn cool. It is so much fun. Football season is when, our audience really does increase. I really do appreciate that. I love LSU baseball. Women's basketball, when it's March Madness, is actually when our audience is at its absolute peak. You wouldn't think that, but that is just, what my numbers tell me. But this is our bread and butter. And I want to make an announcement before we move forward. If you are just a casual LSU football fan, I love you. And I want you to be here. Okay? I really do. But in particular, if you live and breathe LSU football, this is your channel. There are other channels out there that are bigger than mine. There are other really awesome analysts. I'm telling you, Blake Ruffino is as good as it gets. I'm very lucky to call him a friend more so than an analyst, but, I've been on the show a gazillion times. He's been on mine. He's awesome. Tremendous. There's Mike Scarborough. There's Matt Musco. I mean, there's so many great channels out there. But this channel is for the diehard football fan. This is for the diehard LSU tackle football fan. If you show me love, I show the love back. So if this is for you, this is for you. Okay? Now, next thing. I do want to get into a few other practice news and notes, because I wanted to start this off with a little bit more of an evergreen topic than what's the latest of practice and all of that. Obviously, you have, the way this works now is you have 29 days leading up until the game, and you got to have a certain amount of off days. And, as a player, you really got to lock in. Every practice changes so much day by day. And there's different reports over who's doing what well and all of that. My biggest point from this week's practices, and this is kind of a somber point, but it's one that does deserve repeating, is that I would be very skeptical of any wide receiver news and notes with Aaron Anderson not being in the fold. Because when he comes back, he's going to gobble up most of the targets. It's just how it's going to work, right? But, we had Matthew Bruni, who's been at every practice for the most part, and he feels that Nick Anderson has moved forward in this rotation. Now, I will say, the big accounts, the PFFs of the world, they are huge Nick Anderson fans. I mean, huge. I myself think Nick Anderson provides that 6'4", 6'3" frame that the other receivers don't have. Outside of Teron Francis, but even then he's still around 6'1", if you will. Nick Anderson is different because this is a somewhat shorter and slighter wide receiver room than LSU normally has. So he does give you something, right? One of those, in theory, bigger red zone targets. He's really started to pick it up. And then Barian Brown has been consistent going back to the spring. He's put in a lot of work. But for me right now, this LSU passing offense will run through Aaron Anderson and Chris Hilton. Now, do I fear that Aaron's target share could go down? I do. We talked about this in the Aaron Anderson deep dive film study. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think the thing that made Garrett and made Jaden so great, and the biggest gap between Jaden in 2022 to 2023, outside of, the deep ball passing and all that stuff, so much of the 2022 offense was, let's ISO ball Malik Neighbors, and he's going to find a way to get it done for us. To whereas 2023 Jaden was, I'm throwing to the best matchup or running if I don't see the matchup that I like. Joe Burrow, more than any other quarterback that I've seen, outside of like the all-time great passers, and Joe is in that category now, if you ask me, at both levels, if we're being honest, in terms of processing talent, all that stuff. Joe throws to the best matchup. Yeah, he has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and yeah, he had Justin Jefferson and Thaddeus Moss and Terrace Marshall. But Joe is really good at throwing to the best matchup. Jamar Chase mentioned that in an interview comparing him to Josh Allen recently. So Garrett, I think, will be even better in that category next year. So the good thing and the bad thing is Garrett does lose the guy he targeted the most, which was Kyron Lacy. And Kyron was a really good player for LSU. But I do think Garrett would over-target Kyron and feel he needed to give him the ball because there was such a large hype gap and production gap between him and the next receiver on this team outside of C.J. Daniels last year, who was new. So I think Garrett is going to do an even better job of spreading the football around than what he did last year. And the one thing Garrett does really, really, really well is processing. Sometimes he does guess, and sometimes he does get a little lucky with those guesses. It happened, I feel, a few times in the South Carolina game. But, you know, when you are an anticipatory quarterback, that comes with the territory. Sometimes you are trying to, and every read is a guess, if you will, but some are more certain than others, right? But you look at some of the interceptions he had last year, South Carolina one in particular, he was predetermining where he was throwing the football. And that's why a lot of his interceptions were in the direction of Kyron, right? So, you know, there are some things that you could pick up defensively if you watched him enough on tape. If you listen closely to what some of the Texas A&M players said after the game last year, Garrett's by far worst game of his career, and you actually went back and watched some of LSU's games last year, where LSU would work quite a bit, in particular versus zone schemes, are just quick little comeback routes to the outside. And Garrett would throw it, simple hitch. It's a really good quarters beater, which means the corners are, you know, way far off, and you're just playing pitch and catch to the outside. And what A&M did was they picked up on it, and the overhang defender who picked it off, 21, he said in the post-game interview, he was like, we watched him do this all year, and we were shocked that we finally got to one and that he actually did throw it on the comeback. So one thing I wanted to bring up in tonight's show, and it's better served in a film study. I might do another Garrett film study before the start of the season begins. We'll see how things work out as far as talent schedule is concerned. One of the least explosive routes in football are comebacks to the sideline, right? And look no further than Mike Dimbrock, who said this very thing before Jayden's big year in 2023. So much of our offense was, hey, Malik Neighbors to the outside. We know he's going to snap off a route, and even if it's contested, we'll throw it and we'll pick up a first down. The problem with that is those types of routes don't give you much yak opportunities, right? So hopefully this year, as far as Garrett is concerned, our deep ball accuracy is better. It needs to be better. And as much as I praise Garrett as a thrower, and I've kind of been labeled the Garrett fanboy, the Garrett Glazer, the Garrett defender, the deep ball accuracy needs to be better. And I do think it will be, right? I think for first-year starters, it's somewhat hard. You know, not to use an example of someone that's not too popular on this channel, but his family members' autographs are on the screen right now. I want to talk about Arch Manning. So on the SEC channel, we did a few Texas film studies. And boy, Texas called a lot of vertical stuff with Arch in his early goings, right? First start versus ULM. Lots of go balls. I mean, lots of them. And he missed them. He missed quite a few of them. Some underthrown, some overthrown. He missed them. But eventually, they started dropping in. They really did. And the same thing is true with Garrett. Like, he threw some really good verticals. Obviously, in particular, slot fades were good last year for Garrett. Kyle Parker throw is still one of the better vertical throws I have ever seen an LSU quarterback make. Obviously, the ones to Aaron versus South Carolina were absolutely massive. But this year, with the speed that we have, LSU is sending a message. Hey, you know who's one of the best at this very thing, just running a vertical and running underneath passes and sometimes catching difficult ones is Barian Brown. In fact, the biggest pitch and catch vertical ball on the year ended up being Barian Brown versus Ole Miss. So if Garrett hits these, he's going to New York City. It's a lock. You can mark it down. Okay? Now, let's get to as many questions as we possibly can. Oh, man. Jared, what's good? LSU monster. I'm not the GOAT. We got the GOAT coming up, though. Blanche, good to see you, man. That's why we're here. There you go, Jason. I appreciate you, man. Dex. So, you know what's funny? I've gotten so many compliments on our Open. And our Open has been with us all offseason. But like I said, a lot of viewers come back during football season. I greatly appreciate him. Dex is the one who cuts it. He's the one that makes you look good. And we've got some really cool resources coming out that Dex has been working really hard for us these last couple of weeks. Ricky, good to see you. Everybody, welcome Ricky to the channel. I love the shades, bro. Mike in here. Sibley, what's good? One day, all of y'all are going to meet Mike. Brian, the ceiling for this LSU wide receiver room is 2019-2020 Alabama room. Honestly, I like that comp. Like, this sounds like crazy, but honestly, it does kind of work itself out, right? Like Chris Hilton, he won't be this good, but he does kind of remind you of Devonta Smith in terms of their build, right? Chris is obviously faster than him, but Devonta Smith is, come on. Yeah. You can hate all you want. Holy crap. I'm glad we do not have to play him anymore. And that was a very complicated relationship. And then your Jalen Waddle would be Aaron Anderson, if you will. I do think Waddle would have, he's faster than Aaron. But yeah, I could see that. But, Barian Brown might actually be a little bit closer to Waddle. Like, Waddle's like the best of both of those players. And then Aaron Anderson is a better version of Slade Bolden, another Louisiana native, their slot. And then John Mechie was a receiver. So who would be John Mechie in this situation? Anyway, I like that comp. I do. I did see friend of the channel, new to Baton Rouge, Chris Marler. We'll get him on again, Mr. Marler. Jared, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. I did see Marler compare or say that this wide receiver room is better than 2019 LSU's wide receiver room. And that's just not true. Now, if you want to say the 2023 LSU wide receiver room compared to the 2019 LSU wide receiver room, that is a bit of a conversation, a bit. But still, there will never be a wide receiver room better than 2019 LSU. Not Marvin Harrison, Jackson Smith, and Jig, but not them. And I think Garrett Wilson was in one of those rooms. Not that. Not Henry Ruggs and Waddle and no, none of that. 2019 LSU is the best wide receiver room that will ever assemble. I feel really good about that. Now, we'll say, if Carnell Tate turns into Justin Jefferson this year, then Ohio State with Jeremiah Smith has a very strong claim. But I don't think Carnell Tate's going to be that good. I do think Carnell Tate's going to be really good, but I just don't think that that's going to happen. I do think Alabama's wide receiver room has a chance to be very special this year. Very, very, very special. All right. So, who is Blake Ruffino's number one true freshman going into next season? We'll ask him right after this. Are you missing that sweet swing? If pain is holding your golf game back, you must check out the full simulator at the Lafayette location of Laborde Therapy Center. Yes, Chase and his team built this simulator to go along with a full set of programs catered to your needs. Yes, this entire team at Laborde Therapy worked hard to fix that back, your elbow, shoulders, wrists, knees, toes. It doesn't matter. At their Lafayette location, 337-981-4053. Call today. But what if you don't golf? And what if you don't live in Lafayette? No problem. They fix anything therapy related. Book today, labordetherapy.com, with locations in Aaron Crow, Youngsville, Morgan City, and Crowley. Labordetherapy.com. LABORDE therapy.com. Let's go. Building. I want to say thank you for the Karma Sutra yesterday.
What do you mean by that?
the missionary. I didn't know.
Oh, here we go. You're going to start this back up again?
Your favorite true freshman to make an impact for LSU next year is what? Is who?
You mean this year?
This year.
Oof. I really don't know. I haven't seen really any freshmen at the current moment during camp make any massive high impact yet. My thought is, does Carius Kern eventually get moved to guard? They're trying to give Thompson, they're trying to give Chester, they're trying to give everybody a shot here. Does he get moved into there? And then ultimately he's the guy. That's a lot of what ifs on my part. I think Harlan Berry is really the only one that's getting run with the ones. I know that there was a report out there yesterday about the DBs and DJ Pickett running with the ones. No, he ain't. I mean, you can easily understand when you're in the media and you're getting fed bullshit if you actually just show up. So I don't know. I appreciate the question. I wish I could give you an answer. I just do not know.
Your thoughts on the growth, or if there has been growth, in Ashton Stamps?
The problem, I think, with Ashton Stamps at the current moment is that we've seen him look so good in practice so many different times, and now you're in a situation where is it the same ordeal, right? Carter, I think he's looked flawless. I mean, like I told you last night, I mean, he's locked down Barry and Brown like an Akon video. I mean, he's made really good plays, and he's gotten his head turned, what he normally doesn't do. I mean, I still don't think Barryon's the fastest human being on this team. I don't think he's in the top 3, to be honest with you. But he's been stride for stride with him when they've gone up against him, and Garrett has not really thrown it in his general direction because every time he does, it doesn't go well.
So
other than the real wheel route on to Bauer Sharp, which I don't even know, I don't even know how much I equate that, Other than that, I mean, and he's inches away from tipping that away. I don't know.
Your three fastest guys, I would guess, would be Chris 1, Jelani 2, and Michael Turner 3.
Yeah, it's not close.
Yeah. Michael Turner can roll, boy.
Yeah, Michael Turner is probably one of the fastest.
Yeah.
I got to be real with you. I've seen Michael Turner and Jelani Watkins running on a fade route, and Jelani Watkins does not win. He doesn't win that rep.
Dude, I love watching Michael Turner play football. I just think, so much of this is genetics, and he's got the speed genetics. It's just, the frame. If the frame ever comes around, he's going to be great. Anything else from practice, from your boots on the ground eyeballs?
I mean, where would you like for me to start?
This is your canvas. We're allowing you to paint your brush.
Yeah, I think for number one for me, the intensity of the practices have been at an all-time high. That's why I asked Brian Kelly the question. We talked about this a little last night, but I can go in more detail.
Oh, go on.
I just think that it's been such a high level of intensity up front because there are no real starters. And the reason I've been pushing for Carius Kern to go to guard is because I think both Chester and Thompson need some pep in their step. They're getting after it. I see Bernard Gooden talking all kinds of craziness, and I say crazy. I say that in a good way.
Yeah.
Yelling at people saying, "Oh, this is the SEC. This is the SEC. This isn't the SEC." So I think number one, I talked to Matthew Brune about this, so I'll just bring it up because it's I said it to his face. I mean, he disagreed with the intensity part, and he put it on his message board. I kind of thought, maybe worded a little bit different, could have been better. Name the other practices that were. Fighting does not equal intensity.
Oh, so you had a disagreement with Bruno.
We always have disagreements, but
I should have had you on last night with them.
Yeah, I disagree with him saying that Chris should have caught a ball the other day on a corner route. No, he shouldn't. Garrett's got to put it in there. Regardless of that, and look, we talked this out. I'm not, me. I'm not going to.
Yeah. I don't think it was B. I just think it was just a.
Yeah, I mean, it came off a little wrong, but regardless of that, I mean, intensity does not mean fighting. Intensity means going after each other on every play, and I think that is what's happened here up front at a high degree, Carter, and that would be my number one thing. I think defensive line's number two. Yeah, you can play it. I don't know.
I play this. This is Blake Ruffino asking Mr. Brian Kelly the intensity question.
Yeah, I think intensity.
Wait until the end.
Is, first of all, a mindset and having the right guys that bring that intensity. Certainly helps. Then how do you create that, right? I think through recruiting, you create that intensity as well, and competition. So if you add all of those things together, look at the offensive line. You've got 5 guys competing for spots. So there is that piece where it brings out an intensity. I think you're looking at guys that are physically and mentally developed through the program that bring that every single day, that mindset. And I say this on both sides of the ball. So, when you're stirring it, right, you're stirring the drink and you put all the ingredients in there. Sometimes you really got to work hard at getting that intensity. And sometimes you just add water. This group is much more about just adding water. They have those traits. And they have that situation where there's so much competition. We haven't had that competition, quite frankly. They're the starter. It's hard to bring that intensity every day. So I would add those factors into why what you're seeing is actual and true.
Okay, so he said and true.
Correct.
He agreed with you. That's good.
Yeah, he agreed. But did you catch the last part of that? He was very blunt. We have not had competition.
What's your-
I've been in more football practices than a lot of people. I'm telling you, I know what I'm seeing in reference to an intensity up front. People just don't play the offense and defensive lines like that are mostly in media, and they don't. I don't mean this in the wrong way. I don't think they understand what they're seeing. Like, it is a bloodbath, literally. It is a bloodbath. Like, and that doesn't breed wins. I don't want to make it seem like that breeds wins, Carter, because it doesn't. I'm just saying it.
I don't know.
You know, they are getting after it, and it's the only thing I can ask. So he came back to that question. You go listen to the entire press conference. He came back and pointed at me twice. He goes, well, the reason you're seeing this is because they're competing their asses off. Yeah. So, again, I think it's for me. And then number two, the defensive line, which is really the straw of that drink, if you will, of why I asked that.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the composition of the defensive line, and you know, full disclosure, Jack referenced the intensity as well when he talked to us.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I took away from speaking to Jack and speaking to some other veterans is that this defensive line is a good mix of youth that might be entering their prime. So a guy like Dominic McKinley, but also there's a lot of old guys.
Stamps.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But more so on the defensive line is like,
mm-hmm.
This is Jacoby and Guillory's last year. This is Jack Pyburn's last year. This is Patrick Payton's last year. So they've got to put it out. I mean, this is their audition. This is it. So you factor that in, and Bernard Gooden comes in, and he's played as much, if not more, snaps than most. It's now or never. So I've heard the same thing as far as the intensity of practice. So there you go. I'm with you there.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, you can't really deny it. And I think that because there's no starters along the defensive line, that it's just bred it. Pegasus. Have you seen? No. Okay, so the question is, Carter, do you want to read it? This isn't my show. I don't.
No, you have you
Pegasus
seen any
says,
changes? Yeah.
And the run game with Atkins coming in, no. Either Mike Norvell was a big counter run guy or Atkins was. They haven't run counter all camp. And they could easily get into week one and start running counter, you know. I mean, not right now, no. But again, they could easily – I mean, we saw them running out of 12 personnel all camp, and then they got into – guess what game I watched last night?
Well, you tell me. I don't know.
LSU, USC. Everything that we saw in camp that they ran, they didn't run in the game. They didn't run. And you know, my brother was with me watching that game, and he'll tell you, I wasn't pissed off that we lost. Can I tell you what I was really pissed off about? I was pissed off about that I felt like all fall camp and things that you ran, it kind of wasted everybody's time if you're Joe Sloan, because you didn't call in camp what you did during the game. And I understand going up against a different opponent might change things that you're trying to run, but at the same time, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, then why you didn't run 12 personnel once? You ran it one time and you couldn't get 1 yard with wasn't it Caleb Jackson try to get 1 yard?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So they tried to run counter versus USC, and it didn't pop until John Emery.
Right?
Yeah. And it was disastrous. And like we've shared before, I do think USC had the run game figured out in more ways than one. Right now, when they went in the physical battle, they were seeing what was coming pretty quickly. So this defensive line is better than USC's defensive line. So are you somewhat optimistic because Clemson had some issues defending the run last year?
I mean, I am until I see guys that I really respect, like Louis Riddick's mock draft come out, and there's 3 Clemson defensive linemen in his top 10 defensive linemen. I mean, I was. I also last night watched SMU versus Clemson, and I got to tell you, there were some times that SMU ran right at TJ Parker, by the way. right at him. I mean,
Smith show, baby.
That ran right at him. I mean, there were some plays that he made in the backfield, but they ran right at Peter Woods.
That was such a great game, too. It just was a good college football game that deserved only one playoff team.
It did only deserve one playoff team. I mean, you can't. We're not going there. Not tonight. I don't have the energy. But it gets to a place where I think that, I mean, I do have some optimism. I mean, at the current moment, you know, I for me, I want to get my own eyes on Garrett Nussmeier first. You know, like I think everybody's saying he's fine. For me, this is not to alarm. Everything probably and more than likely is. But for me, okay, the report came out that he's fine. Sounds great. Okay, cool. It's not as bad as everybody was trying to make it out to be. He didn't get carted off, all that. Okay, sounds good. I need to see him.
Oh, so you are worried that there is.
Well, I mean, anytime that there's an injury, I'm like that. You know, like if there's an injury along the offensive line, I want to see what happens. I mean, it's not just Garrett Nussmeier. You know, I mean, who went out last? I mean, let me give an example. Braden Swinson didn't show up for the first 3 weeks of camp. He was in summer school. I mean, people forget that, and he was the most disruptive defensive end that we had. I mean, I want to see Garrett Nussmeier first. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think that is like, oh, did y'all hear what Blake Ruffino said type thing? I think it's more of like, again, Carter, there's a level of faith that I have with sources that I have. There's also a level of, okay, well, Blake Ruffino wants to see how he looks.
Yeah, there's skepticism, right?
Always. I never fully trust a source ever.
Yeah. Well, what if I told you if I told you I had a pastrami sandwich earlier, you need to see me eat the pastrami sandwich for you to.
No, because my level of interest I don't really give a shit about your pastrami and what you eat. I give a whole hell of a lot of concern about what LSU.
You don't care. You don't care about my diet.
No, I could care less. I love you. I hope you eat healthy. I love you to death. I hope you live until you're 160. I hope you give the eulogy at my funeral. But it also comes to a point in time where I just don't care. If you want to eat pizza, Tostitos pizza every day or whatever it's called, I don't care.
That was the best Totino's pizza I've ever had.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, they need to serve that at the FanDuel after parties. That's what they need.
I'll make a call.
Blake, what's your guess on what the Tigers will not show until the game? My guess is that for Clemson, the Tigers are not showing everything in practice.
I thank Dr. Butler for the super chat. Why?
Yeah, I mean, you got to practice.
You got to practice it. If you're not running the things that you would run against Clemson because the media is there, with all due respect to the question, this is not a Dr. Butler. With all due respect, then you need to be fired.
I also found it interesting. One of my good friends is Aaron Torres, a national Fox Sports guy. And he said NFL teams let fans go to practice all the time. They don't give a rip.
Well, they have to.
Why?
Under the CBA, they have to allow media and fans. Fans have to be there selective of like 7 days.
Okay. So why don't we do that in college? Why don't we have a few?
Yeah, the NFL doesn't You know why it doesn't matter? Can I tell you why it doesn't matter?
Yeah. Why?
Okay. Yeah, because when you line up in 12 personnel and you run inside dive, schematics doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
College is very secret. There's so much secrecy involved.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But you know, I think that's part of it. But I do think coaches do become too anal about showing too much, if you will, canceling full spring games because you don't want to give too much. You don't want to get poached in the portal. I was like,
kids aren't getting poached because of a spring game, by the way.
They're not. They're not. Now, a bowl game performance, yeah, that could move some things. Even though I think even then it's a little shaky. You saw that with Desmond James at Arkansas. He looked like prime Jerry Rice versus that Texas Tech defense. And what happened? Got a bag from Cal Berkeley. So
I don't think Cal's got that level of cash.
well, I don't either, but it was suspicious what happened there. Let me ask.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You're
I was just saying Ron Rivera just out there slinging bags, son.
What is your general read on the SEC this year?
My general read is that there's so much skepticism around the league because of not losing or not winning back-to-back national titles or not having a team in there. There's a lot of turnover at quarterback, a lot of big teams like Arch is coming in. DJ Lagway's full-time. I think there's a lot of deep quarterbacks, like a lot of talent, but I don't think you know what to expect. I think the front sevens for a lot of teams along in the SEC, for what it's worth, are absolutely atrocious. I mean, meaning that in a good way, that they're so dynamic that I think that, Carter, you could have a couple of 9-3 teams that deserve to be in.
So just for clarity, you mean atrocious as in they're going to be difficult to deal with?
Yes, I should.
So they're good. You think
they're absolutely insane. Like, for example, Carter, I could make an argument right now that Florida has the second best defensive line in the country.
I'd agree with that. I could make an argument that they're number one, honestly.
I can't go past Texas at the current moment.
Even with all they
because they brought in 3 defensive tackles with a combined 45 tackles for loss last season.
Yeah, whose defensive line is getting hyped at the wazoo is Texas Tech.
They deserve it.
But they had a bad defense last year, and they just got the best transfer defensive lineman that they could find, and
now they're out there spending on real cash in high school recruiting.
So for you, Texas is a tier above everybody else.
Correct.
I agree.
Not above everybody else. They're a tier above everybody besides Georgia.
Oh, strong disagreement, dude. Strong disagreement.
You go right on ahead.
Strong disagreement.
How much of a bet you want to play?
Well, I think Georgia starts off 3-0, but I think there's still questions.
What's their schedule?
Marshall, Austin P at Tennessee.
Okay, keep reading.
Oh,
and tell me all these big games at home.
I'll put it up for everybody could see. Alabama.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see them.
They host Alabama, host Kentucky, at Auburn, which is losable.
No, it's not.
Auburn's going to be good this year.
No, they're not.
I don't like Jackson Arnold, but I like that team.
Yeah. Okay. They're going to be ass. Continue.
Why the Auburn hate? Oh, we got.
It's not Auburn hate, Carter.
Is it just Jackson Arnold that? Is it just or is it Hugh Freeze?
I mean, Carter, you brought in Jackson Arnold, and I'm supposed to sit here and assume that just because they lost by 7 to Notre Dame in a Sugar Bowl, that Connor Stockton can't get it done. Jackson Arnold can't get it done.
No, I don't. I think
they have 7 5-star defensive linemen right now. They have 4 interior 5-star linebackers.
Yeah,
they're reloading.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all go right on ahead.
So
you think Arch Manning is going to walk? You think all of those teams are going to walk into Athens and beat them?
No, I'm not saying all of them, but I have
Georgia
Georgia
won't do it. They might get clipped once. They ain't doing it twice. By the way, what has Texas done against Georgia that we can come out here and say that they can beat them?
No, they lost twice last year.
They had 2 games last year with 3 defensive linemen in the second half that was out for Georgia. that were going to be starters this year, they couldn't run the ball in 2 games for more than 60 yards.
So you're very in on Georgia.
Oh yeah.
So you have them, let's just say 10-2 and in the playoff.
I have them 11-1 in the playoff.
Oh, okay. So stock up for Stockton. And Mr.
No, it's not really. It's not even necessarily him. Really, it's more or less that Carter. I thought that. I mean, brother, against Ole Miss, they started 3 offensive linemen. 2 of them got their first ever start. Like, I mean, I think they're more explosive at receiver. They got both of their tight ends returning. I think that their running game's going to be better. I mean, they were second in the SEC last year in drops. I'm not. You're going to have to prove to me that they're a 9-3 team. I'm going to have to see them at worst go 9-3. I got to see it. I got to see it, and I got to see Texas stop playing around with their food.
Right, but I do see Texas as a better team. I have Alabama as the second best team in the SEC right now.
How many passes? See, I can flip that on you. If you're talking about Gunnar Stockton and Georgia, then I can flip on you that you have no idea what Ty Simpson is. And I think, not saying that you would say this, I think it's a very lazy take to say, well, Ty Simpson fits better in a Ryan Grubb offense. You haven't seen Ty Simpson.
No, I'm with you. I will say though that Milroe, while I can't agree with you that we don't know what Ty Simpson is going to look like. One of my right takes was Milroe was a terrible fit for the system last year. Even though Grubb wasn't there, it's still the DeBoer system. So I just think Milroe wasn't the straw that needed to stir that drink.
And he couldn't beat out Milroe for that. It's a whole different set of eyes.
So I just think Jeremy Bernard, highest rated PFF receiver returning in the SEC, and Ryan Williams, and his name slips my mind. Thornton, yeah, wearing number 2 this year, or number 1. So I just think those receivers are
Horton, yeah.
I just think those receivers are going to be just too much. Like Simpson just needs to get the football.
Carter, you can't get him the football when he doesn't know what he's seeing. He couldn't lead a drive versus UCF or USF a couple of years ago. I mean, with all due respect, do you think he's more talented overall than Garrett Nussmeier? And if he is, then okay, fine. But he gets to a situation where Garrett's always had issues with turnovers. These first-year quarterbacks always freaking Arch Manning threw 2 picks versus ULM in his first ever start. I mean, I think we look at these situations and say to ourselves, oh, well, they got this, and this, and we don't put are you going to put your eggs in a basket and put them in tier 1 because I don't know. I can't. I don't think you can go there because
So you're on a bit of a Bama fade.
No, I'm not on a fade. I think that you could easily put them in tier 2 because of what they can do defensively and the personnel that they return defensively. But I also think that you can't go into a season when a guy can't beat out Jalen Milroe and everybody blames Milroe. I mean, Milroe didn't give up all those sacks. Caden Proctor did. Michigan physically abused them up front. A second tier unit abused them. Carter, they got beat by a walk-on quarterback.
What game?
The bowl game.
Oh, it's a bowl game. Alex Orji.
Okay.
But Milroe was
Alex Orji did not play. Carter, they had 6 sacks in the first half. I don't want to hear it's a bowl game when you're getting your shit pushed in and there's no level of pride. I don't want to hear that. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it.
But Milroe was beyond atrocious in that game.
So was Caden Proctor. And I will challenge anybody on that film.
How has PJ Woodland looked, in your opinion?
Been the third corner when they run the first team on the boundary when Mansour Delane goes at slot. I mean, he's looked good. Hasn't given anything up really, but Garrett again just hasn't had the time to really sit there and for us to judge him. But had a couple of PBUs on Barryon Brown a couple of days ago. They threw him a fade route and he had a couple of knockaways. And It's been the third corner. It's not been. He's held out DJ Pickett.
Your next tier of SEC teams. Would you say LSU? Do you have LSU as the second best team behind Texas and ahead of Georgia or behind Georgia?
No, I have them behind Georgia.
And is there any team that you have ahead of LSU in that tier?
Georgia and Texas.
So just those two.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with a healthy Garrett Nussmeier, yes.
Yes, I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
So who would be your fourth team?
It was Bama.
It was Bama.
Mm-hmm.
Could we see a world where South Carolina is the fourth team?
No. Not for me, no. Lenore, well, hold on. Can we see a world? Yes. Lenore Sellers is the second coming of Cam Newton, yes.
It's in the range of outcomes.
He's got to go stupid. He's got to be Heisman level.
I will say, if you just look at the runs themselves that he had last year, it was Newton level. But
I agree.
I mean, the Clemson rushing tape,
the LSU rushing tape,
yeah. But the Clemson one was just insane because it literally was like watching like Bo Jackson just throw guys off of him. It was
A&M too.
Oh yeah, A&M was he had some.
He broke 27 tackles in the second half versus A&M. 27.
I've not really studied South Carolina's defense too
They're
much.
replacing everybody. They're replacing the SEC sack leader. They're replacing two safeties. They're replacing two boundary corners. They're replacing two interior defensive tackles. They're replacing two interior linebackers.
Tonka Hemingway, man, I loved him. Gone.
Yeah, he absolutely wrecked our shit.
He is a good tackle football player.
You know that he went in the portal for a day and LSU offered, and he went back in. He went back to South Carolina.
Interesting.
Yeah, Bo Davis offered him. Mm-hmm.
He's going to play in the NFL a long time.
He is, because he just eats blocks. Garrett Dellinger made a business decision that day.
I will also say this. I wanted to float this theory out to you, and I was going to save it for this show. I should have brought it up to you last night, but missionary came into the conversation.
Oh, good Lord, here we go again. Somebody needs some love.
I get plenty of it.
Okay, it seems like that your testosterone is overflowing.
No, I just did not know Italians invented.
Carter just walks in the house and tells his wife, "I'm going to bust."
I know, if you know the internet meme culture, everyone knows exactly.
Yeah, the old guy, I'm going to bust.
Oh, no, the way I see it. And by the way, if you love LSU, you got to check out Ruffino and Joe, where you do all the college football, all right?
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen is that I feel a lot of teams in the SEC love what they have at defensive end.
Oh, yeah, every one of them. I mean, the best defensive end might be on one of the worst teams, which a lot of people think, and that might be Oklahoma. R. Mason Thomas is a dog.
I mean, not Garrett out last year.
Yeah, I mean, you do realize that I don't remember the exact number. I think it was 10. Will Campbell gave up 10 pressures in his career. 3 of them were to R. Mason Thomas last year.
Yeah, and then obviously one that knocked Garrett out was nasty.
He did that to everybody. Go watch Proctor, by the way. You think that Campbell had a problem. Caden Proctor got bullied. He did reverse pancake this ass 3 times. You want to talk? Everybody talks about Milroe being so bad. Proctor on a counter counter QB run that Proctor got pushed so far back that he hit Milroe, and like he pushed Proctor onto Milroe as Milroe was going down the ground.
Proctor just got. I remember Landon Jackson taking him to town too.
Yeah.
Let me So a lot of teams feel good about their ends, if not great, but are concerned about their defensive tackles.
I don't think every team's concerned about their defensive tackles. Yeah, I don't think A&M is concerned. I don't think Texas is concerned. I don't think Florida is concerned.
I think Texas is a big concern. I mean, you'd have to be with what they lost. Broughton, Collins. I think they're at the least bit.
Yeah, but the last time they bought 3 defensive tackles in from the portal, they were the number 1 rush defense in the country.
And they did lose 2 draftees year before, so they might feel fine. But I do think
they also have the number 1 defensive tackle in the country.
Oh, coming in from high school. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Auburn, they have Kedrick Falk, but they're worried about their tackle. So what I think you could see this year, considering that the SEC does have a bunch of good centers this year, I could see this be a good year for interior rushing games. Lots of duo inside zone. I could see this be a smash mouth year in the SEC, especially with a bunch of first-year starters.
Overall in the SEC, very likely, besides us.
Yes, that's the thing, because it's like it's kind of true for LSU as far as the ends versus the tackle. But do we have the interior, the offensive line to take advantage of it? I've thought about this long and hard. I do think interior rushing, if done correctly, I think this could be some smash mouth.
It very well may. Again, the last 5 national title winners, I'm going to keep bringing this up. College football's had so many different changes, right? NIL, portal, GMs, the College Football Commission, all these changes. Go look this up for yourself. Go look at the Final 4 teams every year. Go look at them. All of them are going to have one thing in common, because I've done this. Every one of them have one thing in common.
They can run the rock,
fucking ball,
and they can run it up the middle. They can run
it up the middle. And you know what? You know what else? They could stop the run. Guess who the worst team guess who the worst team to get to a Final Four? Was Washington. They were actually around 39th or 40th. Okay, their secondary was so bad. Other than that, if you even I think it was if you take them out of that, the Final 4 teams average being in the top 4.
Yeah, and like the big misnomer about Ohio State was, it was a Jeremiah Smith show. No, it was interior rushing. I mean, and obviously that's Chip Kelly's bread and butter, but that's my thing.
Remember, they ran that counter play 7 plays in a row to beat Notre Dame.
Notre Dame could not deal with Judkins at all,
or Henderson.
Yeah. So I do think here's if I was asked by LSU, what would you do? I would get Garrett under center. Dude.
I don't think that matters right now, considering how much you've been bullied up front in the interior.
I agree, but I don't know. It could just be that, like, I think Kurt Warner said it on Twitter. He said something about being under center.
You know why that is?
Why is that?
Because if I'm a defensive lineman and I extend, okay, and I get my hands on you and I can get a peek, okay, when you're under center and he's under center and he's closer to you, it's actually worse to see where he is versus him being 5 to 6 yards back and me being able to see what's going on in the backfield. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you're closer to the line of scrimmage, okay, and I'm trying to get onto you, if you're right behind the guard and you're turning around to give it, I don't know if he's going to an outside zone. I don't know if he's going to an inside zone. I don't know where he's going. You have to play a lot of gap integrity. The problem is that when you're 6 yards back and I can extend and see where the running back's going, because if the running back's on the right of you, know where the ball is being run if he's handing it off, right?
Yeah.
But under center, you don't know. You have no clue where the ball is really going to go.
I just love being under center, and it's ironic that, like, Joey B has in the NFL lowest under center rate, or one of the lowest under center rates. And I know Nuss probably prefers being in the shotgun, but I just think that's one way to get a good downhill run game going, is saying, look, we're going to play a little bully ball.
I hope they do, bud. I really hope that they do.
Before we skedaddle, is Clemson the best team on the schedule?
No.
Blake is absolutely right on Caden Proctor. There we go.
He is, dude. He's been bullied.
Iowa fans agree. Actually, I got a pretty nice super chat from an Iowa fan yesterday.
How about that?
I mean, we might give up 6 sacks in the first half versus Clemson. Legit.
Then we're not winning.
Unless we get 6 sacks on our defensive line.
We're not doing it because they throw the ball too quickly.
There's Algeezy.
He texted me this today.
Akon and Algeezy.
6-9-3 SEC teams. I'm rooting for chaos. This would be the only year that I'm not rooting for chaos because, again, with everything going on in the playoff and people wanting automatic qualifiers and shit, I hope that just teams – I hope Big Ten and SEC dominate. And I hope the SEC dominates more than the Big Ten so we can put this shit to rest.
I have 3 9-3 teams, one of them being LSU, getting into the playoff at 9-3. And then I have a ton of 8-4. Oklahoma at 8-4, Missouri at 8-4, Georgia at 8-4.
Georgia, all right, you want to place a small wager?
Tennessee at 8-4. Well, yeah, it's going to heavily favor you.
I mean, you said that they're going 8-4. Put some money on it.
8-4, 9-3. I have them as a 9.
No, you said 8-4. Put money on it.
I have Haynes King seeking quintuple overtime revenge.
They're getting blown out.
Don't.
They're getting blown out.
They're going to be at home in front of the boisterous.
No, they're not. Georgia's going to pack Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
And then, it is a neutral. It is a neutral.
Yeah.
God, it's sad.
Carter, their 6 toughest games are in the state of Georgia. They're not losing 4 games. I'm sorry. I love you. They're not going to lose 4 games out of the 6. It's not going to happen. Who do you have them losing to?
9. So should we go 9-3?
No, you said 8-4, so I'm sticking you to it. So tell me who they're losing to.
I changed your final loss to Georgia Tech because what's a prediction without getting spicy? Let's see.
They're not losing to Georgia Tech.
I have them losing to Auburn on the road.
Not happening.
I have them losing to Florida and Texas.
They're not losing to Florida.
I almost lost to them last year.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, Lightweight doesn't get hurt. I
don't give a shit if y'all got to stop that. He's hurt again.
Oh no, I'm with you that he's injury prone. But
Florida,
a
team that won back-to-back SEC titles, they had a walk-on at quarterback and won back-to-back national titles. Y'all saw one start with Gunnar Stockton. One.
Oh, what sets Bennett's not a walk-on?
He was a walk-on.
He was a walk-on, but he's better than a walk-on.
He was not on a scholarship when he won his first national title.
Okay, but he's better than a good chunk of the quarterbacks who've won natties.
Name them.
Oh, he's better than he was a better college quarterback than JJ McCarthy. He was a better college.
You didn't say better college quarterback. You said better quarterback.
Yeah, he was a better.
I will give you a push on JJ McCarthy. Continue.
He was better than I believe he was better than Howard last year.
Wilker Howard went 16 of 17 in the first half on one of the most dangerous defenses that we've seen. Stop.
And Stetson Bennett out-dueled CJ freaking Stroud.
I got to be honest with you. No, he didn't. You better go watch that game for the first 3 quarters. No, he does not.
And he brought him back and played absolutely ridiculous, right? I would say CJ was the better quarterback in that game. That was Stroud's best game as a collegian. He just happened to lose.
You said that he was better than some of the quarterbacks that won national titles. outside of J.J. McCarthy. Name the others. Is he better than Burrow?
No.
Is better than Mac Jones?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, then they won the next two.
Okay, and then I would say he's better than Jacob Coker.
I'm not giving you Walker Howard, college quarterback. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
No, he was a better quarterback than Will Howard.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, what? Carter.
He obliterated Texas and Carter. He went 4-0 against 4 top 10 teams in a row.
Yeah, and Stetson Bennett played absolutely amazing as well.
Yeah, he had arguably the best defense that we've seen in 2 decades behind him too.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't
20
take away
people
how
from
good
that
he
defense.
was.
20 plus people from that defense has been drafted already.
Yeah, and Ohio State, their defense was really damn good last year too. They had the best defense. They had the best defense of college football.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Whose defense was better than theirs?
Texas's was better than theirs.
Mm.
Texas had two DBs that combined for 10 interceptions.
I would
was ass.
I would say secondary's a push between Ohio State and Texas. Yes.
They were the number 1 secondary in the country in passing yards allowed. No, they weren't.
But that doesn't.
They led the country in interceptions. No, they weren't.
I would say I would give the edge to Texas. I'll give you that, but it's close. Caleb Downs,
Makuba.
Yeah.
I love Caleb Downs, but Makuba was more impactful.
I don't think he was better than Caleb Downs.
He had more interceptions, more tackles for loss, more sacks. Who's more productive?
Let's have to be all end all, right? It's not.
So if I will more turnovers, more tackles for loss, and more sacks.
If we were to both put a poll up, who is a better college?
Yeah, but people don't know ball like that. Some people don't even know who Makuba is. You know that they know who Caleb Downs is.
I was begging LSU to go after him in the portal.
They told me I was an idiot.
They said they said the same thing about me.
Yeah, they told me I was an idiot. Ask Gunner. Hey, talking about quarterbacks, ask Gunner Stockton about Makuba. His helmet came off.
I was nasty. Yeah, no. We just did a film study on that play.
Makuba's
but yeah,
in the NFL right now. He already beat out the safeties.
I would say Ohio State's defense overall.
I wouldn't. If Quinn Ewers wasn't complete dog shit, they beat Ohio State. Because Quinn Ewers is complete dog shit.
You would get no disagreement.
Yeah, he's complete dog. He's complete dog shit. So
you would get no disagreement from me there.
Carter, you do realize that Texas had 2 guys at their edge unit last year that weren't starters, that were backups that had double-digit sacks.
Yeah, Simmons and Burke.
Burke.
Okay, yeah. I think Burke's underrated going into next year. He's a good player.
No, not Burke. Moore didn't start.
Oh, the linebacker?
Yeah. And I mean, Anthony Hill, I mean, I get he is a starter, but he's not an edge at starter. He's not a starter at edge. I mean, they had an inside linebacker with double-digit sacks. They were I'm telling you, they were the nastiest defense in the country. Quinn Ewers sucks. He sucks. He sucks. He's not good. Everybody building this thing up about Miami because they hate Tua. Stop.
But honestly, me saying Georgia is a 9-3, 8-14. I'm just giving Kirby Smart bulletin board.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm giving Nolan Smith. I'm giving Nolan Smith this bulletin.
Okay. Can we get back to that? Can you tell me their 4 losses again? You said Florida, Auburn,
Georgia
Tech,
and Texas. Georgia Tech picks them off in an upset. You got to have one spicy thing. I had him 9-3, and I was like, "Oh no, let's get spicy. Let me doubt Kirby Smart." Trust me, I've bet Georgia overs for years now. Some Mike Bobo skepticism.
I am bookmarking this YouTube video.
Do it. That's
and
fine.
I'm coming back. You saying Carter?
You don't build YouTube titans and pyramids like you have, and I sort of have, by being someone that gives these lukewarm takes. You sometimes have to go out on a limb because that's where the fruit is. Georgia, there you go.
Okay.
Do you have a bold SEC prediction? Does Ole Miss fall
Yeah,
off?
I think Ole Miss is in the top 5.
Top 5 of the SEC?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think they're right there on the door with Bama and LSU.
Okay.
Because here's my logic. I know people hate Lane Kiffin. I get why they hate Lane Kiffin. The problem still remains that with them, he still has gotten to 9 wins the last 3 out of the last 4 years. They just keep winning and their schedule's soft. I mean, they don't have to go to LSU on the road. I know they got to go to Georgia on the road. But Carter, I mean, I know that they have South Carolina at home. There's a lot of things that they have on their schedule that's very beneficial to them. They got Oklahoma at home, I believe. They got Florida. They got Florida at home. No, Oklahoma's on the road.
In a back-to-back road.
Yeah. Is that a bye in between there? No.
No.
They got LSU at home, Arkansas at home. I mean, Carter, they got Kentucky on the road. They're going to beat the dog shit out of them. I mean, there's a very strong likelihood that they're going to be undefeated going into the LSU game, then coming off a bye, and then they got Washington State at home. I mean, you can have an undefeated versus one-loss Georgia team, and do they split that Georgia-Oklahoma game? I mean, that stretch right there in October, November the 1st is brutal for them. I get it, but I'm not really bought in on South Carolina. Even if they lose those 2 games, I fully believe that they can win out. I mean, they're going to be pissed about the Florida thing. So, I mean, at worst case scenario, they could be 9-3, and Carter 9-3 would have them at 5.
I actually do have them at 9-3 right now, but my issue. Okay, well, then where do you stand on Texas A&M?
Well, they don't. I mean, they don't play A&M.
Yeah, but I was just asking before we skid out.
Where's A&M here? Okay, they got UT, Dookie Water State, Dookie Tech State. I don't think they can go to Notre Dame and win. Then they got a bye week, so that's a loss. But that doesn't really go for the SEC. They got Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home. I think they. I mean, I don't know about Auburn, but they lost. Auburn beat them last year. They might want some revenge. So they could be 4-1, 5-1. Florida at home. Florida's going to be tough. At Arkansas, at LSU. I think they're going to – I don't care what LSU does. They're not losing A&M at home. At Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and Texas. I just feel like they lose 2 of those games for some reason in the month of November.
You want another hot take? Marcel Reed has a larger bench risk than people want to admit.
What do you mean by that?
I could see him struggling and them going to Zeno.
Could.
Yeah. Could. And it's not I have felt this way. It's not the stupid preseason throws versus air that everybody is shitting on him for. It's not that. It's just
Could.
Terry Bussey clips. I've not seen the Terry Bussey clip.
I haven't either.
What is it? The one that he's overthrown?
I don't know. I hadn't seen it.
College football national champion will be.
I haven't finalized that yet. I don't.
So that means Texas.
No, not necessarily.
And that's you mean that's what
I think Penn State's going to look. I know I'm putting. Here's a hot take.
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay, you don't want to hear it.
No, I don't want to hear anything positive about Penn State.
Why?
Well, they got to win a game. They got to win something.
They were in the Big Ten title game last year.
Yeah, but did they win that game?
Did Texas beat Georgia? Did Texas beat any teams that were worth a flying shit?
They did not.
No, they did not. So you're bought in on Texas, and then you're not bought in on Penn State. So don't come in here and tell me that they got to win a game when
Texas actually beat Clemson and Kate Klubnik last year.
Clemson lost to everybody in the SEC.
Yes, but I have seen Sark win big games before. I have not seen
name a couple. Name a couple.
He went on the road and beat Nick Saban and Alabama in
You
Alabama.
know that's with an asterisk. But go ahead. I'll give it to you.
No, why is that an asterisk?
Jalen Milroe, that's the asterisk. They benched him at South Florida. They almost lost to South Florida, and Nick, being Nick, found a way to get his team to win the SEC.
Yeah, but Sark, I know I could trust him.
You can't trust him. He got blown out by Washington. He didn't beat Georgia
How did he
twice.
get blown out by Washington?
They lost by 17.
No, that game came down to the final play.
Carter.
Yes,
Ohio
it did.
State came down to the final play.
Yeah, Texas came down to the final play. Texas-Washington came down to the final play. If our agreement that Quinn Ewers sucks, the fact that Sark has won as much as he's won with Quinn Ewers as his quarterback is nothing short of impressive.
Okay, they got their final touchdown with 6 seconds left. The score was 37-24. Excuse me.
No, and
so it's not. Don't say that it was a one-score game when they scored with 6 seconds left.
So you're buying Penn State national championship hype.
I didn't say that. All I said was I look at Penn State and say they returned 5 of their offensive linemen. They did not. What did it say? I'm killing their vibe.
Well, everybody is right now, but
I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
Well, if you want sugar-coated LSU analysis,
don't go to AYS.
You can find yourself out the door. I feel like overall you're nice to LSU.
I'm very nice.
I consider myself that way too. But
how about this?
I get angry messages all the time. I'm sure you get more than me.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want to hear something nuts? Can I vent on this? Joel, I'm working. Bye. Can I tell you something nuts?
Yeah.
Can I tell you what bugs the outright shit out of me?
What does?
That I can come here in the offseason and say that Garrett's got to reduce the turnovers, and I get absolutely abused all offseason. Then the first thing he says at SEC Media Days and at Manning Passing Academy was, I've been working hard to reduce the turnovers, and everybody praises it.
Oh,
so,
no. Well, I mean,
like it really bugs the shit out of me that I'm like, I hate the kid. I don't want him to succeed. Like all these narratives that I get DM'd constantly. And I'm like, brother, he had 17 turnovers last year. That cannot happen. You went 8-4 with 17 turnovers at the quarterback position.
We won't. And I agree the turnovers have to be limited, but
they got to be limited. Carter, you cannot. I don't care what anybody thinks. If you know one shred of evidence about football, if your quarterback has 17 turnovers in a 12-game span, going 8-4 is a little bit of a blessing.
What I would push back on is a good chunk of those 8 wins were because of Garrett.
No, they weren't. No, I'm sorry, but no.
Blake, come on. No, Blake, come on.
South Carolina was because of Garrett?
1,000%, yes.
No, it wasn't. You should have been set, Carter.
Blake, 1,000%.
Carter,
yes.
You should have been 7. No, it was because Sellers went out of the game.
That's part of it.
Nothing to do with Garrett. If he stays in the game, you get blown out. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but you also had a situation in the fourth quarter where he threw a pick 6 that if he doesn't flop, Carter, we're losing.
Oh, I agree. He should have ate that sack. I agree, but
you can't throw that out with the bathwater because you got the call. Sorry, you can't.
No, and I'm with you. There was a lot of favorable whistles, but the only thing that was working was Garrett bailing us out of very difficult third down conversion situations, with the offensive line having a tough day versus a really good
Carter, he had 5 interceptions inside the opponent's own 30.
You're talking about just in that game?
No, I'm not in that game. I'm talking about in the month of October, he had 9 picks.
Yes, but
like, what are we A&M?
No, I've said 1,000 times that.
I mean, I don't understand this pushback by you or anybody that I get in reference to this.
I would never push back against the A&M game, and
you can't push back against any of the turnovers in the month of October. You can't push back on the Alabama turnovers. I mean, Carter, quite honestly, he almost threw 3 picks against Arkansas. If you want the film, I got it because it's sitting right here on the projector.
But for the most part, the Arkansas game was very good.
Yeah, it was their cleanest game, but he almost threw 3 picks. Again, you can't be in a. You should have been 7-5. You should have been 7-5. And when you can realistically swallow that pill and get to your point, or get to the point where we should have been a game above 500.
No, Blake, I would not disagree with you on the Texas A&M game.
You can't agree with any of them, Carter. I'm sorry.
No, the South Carolina game was a ridiculous display of high-level throws mixed in with some bad turnovers. But mixed in with 3 turnovers is an abomination to the word turnover. Yes, because guess what, Blake? Sometimes when you have to throw the way that he had to throw.
Not against South Carolina, he didn't. Caden Durham had over 100 yards rushing. He didn't have to.
No, and Caden played amazing. He really did. But the bottom line is Garrett's big-time throws in that game were nothing short of incredible. I mean, 2 explosive pass plays, while the best left tackle in LSU history has 2 of his worst reps, and you're still able to have explosive throws on those reps. That's really high-level quarterback play.
Sure. And it's bottom-level quarterback play, the 9 interceptions that you had in the month of October, the interception that you threw against Ole Miss that should have lost you the game and into quadruple coverage, should have lost you the game. Carter, those are crunch time situations.
I don't think that interception should have lost him.
Carter, if they get 3 points, there's no literally mathematically impossible that if they kick a field goal there and don't go for it, you cannot win.
Yes. And then guess what? What happened?
He got bailed out by the defense. He got bailed out by Braden Swinson. He got bailed out on some of these. That when he turned the ball over, when he panicked and he threw the ball off of Will Campbell's helmet and it got picked, he got bailed out because they went on 4th down and Braden Swinson got another stop. He got bailed out.
Yeah, no,
okay?
Yeah.
So you can't have set. By the way, he had 5 fumbles that got recovered by the other team. He had 7 total fumbles on the season. 7. So you get to a place where, Carter, what if those other 2 do get by the other team and they recover it? You're talking about 19 turnovers. Again, there's no level of this where he made a high-level throw here. You know who also made some high-level throws? You want me to say it? Jarrett Lee made some high-level throws.
Oh, don't ever put them in the same sentence. Blake,
those were first-time starters.
You cannot, Blake, you cannot respectively put Jarrett Lee.
Carter, do you understand?
I love Jarrett Lee.
Carter, do you understand?
They're not, Blake, you should not.
Carter, he tied a record for turnovers in a season by a quarterback.
You cannot.
I'm sorry, I love you, but you overlook his turnovers. I love you, but you do.
I do to a certain extent.
Yeah, you do. Massively.
Transition and what the trade-off for those turnovers, all these ridiculous throws.
But Carter,
absolutely positively
ridiculous. Can have those ridiculous throws. Yes. But it's degraded when you have those, when you have 3 turnovers in a game.
Yes. And let me ask you this. Is it really hard to play quarterback?
Yeah.
When your center has a grade below 50 on the season?
Sure. But you know what else?
Really hard to play quarterback.
Doesn't mean that you bail out left and throw a ball up to a 5'7" receiver either.
And that is, once again, I could see the Texas A&M game to you, and I always will.
Carter, right? Okay,
it's one of the more disastrous.
Do it for Ole Miss then, because it happened with Pooh Paul. He did it to Caden Durham.
Blake, the Ole Miss game from Garrett Nussmeier was nothing short of fantastic.
Carter,
are you kidding me?
You are outside of your box.
Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, you're outside your box. You had 3 turnovers from him, 2 inside the opponent's own 30. What are you talking? He had some high-level throws, yes. To say it's exceptional, maybe we're fighting over semantics of words. The word exceptional is not in that strategy. It's not. There's no way when a quarterback has 3 turnovers that you can go anywhere but over good. It doesn't exist.
Yes, and there's not many quarterbacks at LSU that dealt with the drops like he had to deal with in the first half of that Ole Miss game.
Oh, good Lord.
And Walter Nolan in his lap the entire game. And
Carter, I'm sorry.
Fourth down drive.
A
versus
defensive
Golden.
lineman in your face does not excuse the number one rule of football at being a quarterback. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't. But you know what? Hold on. We're having this.
There was no way that they could have ran the football.
We're having this
There was
disagreement.
no run game.
You know who disagrees with you? Do you know Garrett Nussmeier?
Blake, every quarterback would say, "Hey, I need to limit the turnovers," and we all agree on that.
How do you limit the turnovers? You can't say something's exceptional and then those not be eliminated. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't have it both ways.
Blake,
you can't say, sure, he's got to reduce them. How does he reduce them?
Blake, is quarterback hard when you cannot run the football? Tell me that.
Yes. It does not. I don't think you're understanding what people are saying.
There's nothing else.
Nothing else matters than not. Carter, it doesn't matter if you can run the ball. It doesn't matter if your offensive line sucks. It doesn't matter if your receiver sucks. The number one rule in football is what?
Score more points in the other team.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Score more points in the other team.
The greatest head coach of all time literally went to the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and said, I told every quarterback in the beginning of the season, every great offensive series ends in a kick.
I would disagree with that. Not every.
I'm sorry. Then you're disagreeing with the best head coach of all time.
Because some series ends in punts, and that coach would punt.
That means you're not turning the ball over, and we're going to recruit enough and be good enough that defenses that we got to make a stop. It's a team game.
I'm with you.
I'm sorry. There's no way that you can look at any quarterback ever in the history of life and say that you can turn the ball over and make excuses for everybody else besides him in the turnovers.
Okay. So let me ask you this. All right. LSU was the best team in college football on 3rd and long.
Yes.
Do you know how difficult it is to survive in those kinds of environments? And Garrett still completing.
Carter, they ran for 150 yards against Florida, and he still had 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
So I got 2 games where they did run the football, and they still lost.
Because your guy, Caleb Banks, was in his face the entire game.
That excuses a fumble. Okay, by the way, Caleb Banks didn't hit him in the second fumble.
He should eat sacks and not fumble the ball.
Okay.
I'm working on that.
Okay.
And I was very critical of him not running when rush lanes were wide the frick open in that game. I was very critical, but I'm also understanding that this is a first-year starter who had to deal with an offensive line that was supposed to be amazing. It wasn't great. Had to deal with a first-year play caller that had his issue. That had his issue.
I don't care about a first-time play caller. It doesn't. Carter, there is nothing.
Play callers don't make the offense easier?
They do, but you know what the number one thing about awareness is on Madden? Don't turn the ball over.
Yes. So,
I mean, like, Carter, we had 2 interceptions against South Alabama.
Oh, they were atrocious.
Okay, you got to stop making excuses and saying everything. Carter, you ran all over South Alabama. You had a 75-yard run touchdown, and you had 2 picks. That had nothing to do with the run game. Nothing.
I'm with you on that.
I got 3 games. I got 3 games where you got 7 interceptions, and you said it's the run game. Okay, if it's the run game, then what?
Blake, I just don't think people understand what Garrett had to deal with. And I think you're struggling with understanding everything that he had to deal with.
No, I'm not.
Blake, you were the one saying
Carter,
running the football is important.
Against Georgia?
Nobody has missed or run the football more than you.
Yes, but you know what I also know?
LSU,
you know what I also know? Name a game where he hasn't struggled, or situations where he hasn't struggled with turnovers, because he had a better offensive line that could run the ball against Georgia, and in a half he had 2 interceptions and a fumble. The amazing game against Georgia, Carter, he had 3 turnovers in a half, and a half. I thought it was amazing, too, coming off the bench and doing what it did. It's very difficult. Okay, He had multiple interceptions against Southern. He had a pick 6 against Southern. He had multiple interceptions against South Alabama.
Oh, well, that was
don't you dare, because this fan base did the same thing to Jane Daniels and did it to every other quarterback. Oh
yeah, but I will say though, before everyone thinks that, because that's why I didn't want to bring up Nuss, because we get into this debate about him.
No, but he brought it up. That's why we started this segment. He's the one that said it.
And people think that I coddle him. I will say there is a lot as a passer he needs to get better at as well. It's just I'm a little bit more sympathetic to his offensive environment.
And I am sympathetic to a defense that had to bail him out a lot too. And how let me ask you this question.
Did Garrett not bailed him out as well? Did he not?
Sure. It's complimentary football. But you know what else I know? I had nine times last year where a series started at the own 30. Excuse me. Or better.
Yeah, no.
It led the SEC, by the way. Just newsflash to everybody. It led the SEC. Nobody had worse field position than LSU last year defensively. No one.
Now, I was getting ready to sign off, but it always happens. A Nuss debate. We'll have you on again before the Clemson game. Once again,
here's the thing.
I'm on. Before we go, I am on Blake Show Weekly. You are the absolute best at doing this. There's nobody I'd prefer.
No, I defer to you.
No, I do.
Here's the thing: we can disagree, and then in 30 minutes we're chatting like high school.
Oh yeah, no, and I wouldn't have you on if you didn't disagree with me. I like having guests that push back.
Let me ask you this question: if you have an entire year where a lot of the turnovers are the same, then what?
Oh, you're in a lot of trouble. That's the problem with this, is that there. For me, there's just so much on Garrett's shoulders yet again. And I will be way more critical. Obviously, I flamed him during the A&M film study, the Florida film study. I destroyed him for not running. There was just so many rush lanes in that game that made life harder on his offensive line. But then at the same time, Paul Mabenga wasn't ready to play SEC football.
Can I throw something at you that you're going to yell at me at?
Go on.
When Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl, how bad was his offensive line?
Oh, they were terrible.
Did he have turnover problems?
Did he have I would have to go back and
no, he didn't. He didn't.
Right. But
he didn't. You know the answer to that. So
no, I really don't. I really don't remember.
Atrocious offensive lines that couldn't run the ball, and the turnovers weren't as bad.
Yeah.
So let's not act like he's not the only one that's gone through this.
Yeah, but where I would push back, though, is that Bengals defense was better than LSU's defense.
Sure. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. The greatest quarterback of all time literally sat there and took the sack because, again, the number one rule as a quarterback, at least to me, I guess, is you can't turn the ball over.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. That's the thing. I'm not excusing the turnovers. It's just where we disagree is how much of what LSU did last year was on the shoulders of Garrett, right?
Okay. People in the comments saying he was a first-time starter. Joe did not have issues with turning the ball over as a first-time starter either.
Yeah, I mean,
he had 3 picks, by the way.
What, his first year as a starter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it was a way different environment, a way different style of play, way lower plays per game. LSU's defense was way better that season. And, you know, I don't like saying anything bad about Joe because it's just stupid, but he had 4 straight games where he didn't have a touchdown pass.
Yeah, but they still won.
Yo, I'm not disagreeing with that. It was just a different game environment.
I'd rather Garrett Nussmeier never throw another touchdown and us go 15-0 and win a title and him being the starting quarterback.
I'm with you with that, Blake.
And he won it too, but I mean, it's not going to happen. But it also comes to a point where everybody talks about he didn't throw a rushing touchdown. Carter, didn't he have 5 rushing touchdowns? He had 3 against Georgia. He had 2 quarterback sneaks for touchdowns, did he not?
No, I'm saying touchdown passes.
Yeah, the touchdowns, how you get them. I don't give 2 Rudy Poos how it happens.
Oh no, I'm with you, but it was a different environment, right? how many games did LSU only give up 3 points defensively?
The point is that he's not the only quarterback that's ever gone through these situations. He's not.
Yeah, but what I think you're struggling to do is separating the styles of quarterbacks, right? Jaden is obviously an elite runner. Joe was a very, very good runner, and that's not Nuss's game, but I've said he should run more.
Apparently he runs a 4.5.
There's nobody more critical of Nuss's inability to
How do you think my DMs are going to be, by the way?
Hopefully they're full of Italian recipes.
I think they're going to be full of rage.
And trust me, I've it comes with it. As
oh, I know.
As you know, the worst was a few years ago. I lost a potential partnership over something that was very minute about my LSU football analysis. But I would prefer you to be honest.
Oh, I'm not going back down.
Yeah, and I don't either. It's just like it's funny because the only thing I had said about Nuss and all of it earlier was him being a better deep ball thrower. He needs to be way better at that.
Oh, way better. When he like 42%.
Yeah, and there was just misses. They weren't the worst misses I've ever seen, but I mean, you got to connect on.
You're also throwing deep balls. If there is something, you're also, if it's Sloan, there also is he's trying to throw balls to guys that ran 4.6s too.
So there you go. I know you want to have family time tonight. AYS, I didn't expect this to be this long.
Come on, you knew it.
I honestly didn't. I was supposed to have dinner with.
All right. See ya.
See you, buddy. See, you don't have to bring up the Nuss. I was signing them off. SLS, good to see you. J Smacks, holding it down. Y'all show J Smacks some love. I'll take a few more because I don't like ignoring the chat. Sometimes you have to though when you have a guest. Western believes we will have to see, but I don't have faith to reduce the turnovers. LSU Monster says this is so entertaining. Well, if you want to see entertainment, I'm on Blake Show once a week, so check it out. Coon. I'll be honest. I know Blake really well, right? I will say, and you say this all the time, but he actually is a friend outside of sports media. I've been to his house a few times. Also, Alexander, your super chat is correct, and I brought that up in the Aaron Anderson film study as well. That was one of Garrett's worst misses of the season. Like I said, Garrett missed a lot more than I would have liked. But, hey, Jason's in here. Penn State isn't doing squat, plain and simple. Penn State's schedule is very favorable. Tari, good to see you. Good to see you, Mike. Van Buren's, it's funny. I was having this conversation earlier today, and simply you will like this because you're old school. Van Buren is a legendary LSU football name, Steve Van Buren. Who remembers Steve Van Buren? That's an old school. Now, for all of this, and obviously YouTube plays some spots, but on Facebook, I don't think they run spots. All of this is thanks to our partners, once again, at LaBorde Therapy Center. If you're in the Lafayette region, there are 5 different locations. If you're in Youngsville, LaBorde Family Center, Therapy Center, excuse me. Karen Grove, Morgan City. Get to it, LaBorde Therapy Center. Health is wealth. If we beat Clemson by 14, do we win a natty? I think you'll make the playoff. That would mean you're a good team. Sacco, what's up, man? It's been a while since Sacco. I remember just like the most random things about my viewers. Sacco, you were the one I'm trying to remember because there was something really cool about it. It was either you were in Tiger Band or there was an epic like military photo that was once your profile photo. It was either one of those. JD5 and Burrow came here more experienced and mature than us. Swimmer, that was it. Okay, damn. I knew it was something. Oh, you're on one? TLV, good to see you. What if BK and Dabo Swinney do a dance-off? Well, give me BK all day, baby. I'm not a Dabo hater, by the way. There's a, you know, the true story, and this is a message for Brian Kelly if you're watching this. Okay. And this is a very clean message to BK. I do have a photo with Dabo Swinney. I've met Dabo Swinney, talked to Dabo Swinney. I have a photo with Dabo. I do not have a photo with Brian Kelly. I've never met Brian Kelly. I believe, with my life being dedicated to LSU football, I just want a photo with BK. Not even asking for an interview. I just want a photo. Yeah, I mean, you know, I was very blessed to have another opportunity earlier today. A very respected media organization reached out to me. It just depends if we can work something out. But honestly, my debates with Blake are one of my favorite things I do in media. But he's a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. But I will also say this. He covers baseball way better than I do. I said it a gazillion times. If you want LSU baseball covered, follow him. I will say this. This is ironic that I'm going to do this because I'm always hey, go follow all the LSU players on social media. The single best social media follow right now in all of LSU athletics. And no, I am not talking about the man that caused the divorce of a CEO of a company that nobody had ever heard of. I'm not talking about this Chris Martin. I'm talking about LSU baseball strength and conditioning coach, Chris Martin. Go follow him on Twitter. Holy hell. He's just giving away all his secrets. Literally, he's just giving it away for free. I'm like, this is a world-class strength and conditioning coach giving our secrets away. And I kind of want to DM. I was like, no, don't give all the fitness tips where all the other LSU teams or all the other baseball teams could steal. He's giving away some sauce. Today, it was pitchers should run polls. And I bench pressed earlier today, actually a few hours ago, and he was talking about how baseball players should bench press. There is, believe it or not, there is a discussion that baseball players shouldn't bench press. I wanted to include that. I wanted to ask Blake about it because he knows, like he literally knows Jay Johnson. I also want a photo with Jay Johnson. So if you are watching Jay, I would, if Jay Johnson said, hey, Carter, drive to Baton Rouge right now, snap a photo with me and drive back, I would do it because I know that those opportunities are rare because his ass is always recruiting. But Chris Martin, that is his name of LSU. Go follow. He is giving away his secrets. What the hell are you doing? That is cool, though. It's a cool behind-the-scenes look at how he trains LSU baseball. Because you play so many damn games, it's different than football where everything is just like regimented. Baseball is so athlete position specific, and he breaks it all down. Yeah, what? So Holden, you play baseball. I never heard of him until a few weeks ago. Dude, his content is insane. He's so freaking insane. He's so damn smart. Now, I don't know enough. I mean, I've lost some weight. I'm about to eat some spaghetti, so I'm about to gain some of that weight back. I shouldn't have gave the food away. That's for the end of the video. But Chris Martin, that is a dream LSU guest for me. Maybe more than Jay Johnson, because Jay Johnson's a dream guest. But Chris Martin, if you're watching, I want you on PHL, man. You think you know a lot about health and fitness until you met Chris Martin. Come. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Top super chatters. Sibley, Trey, Alexander, Carl, Alexander, Jared via Venmo. Thank you so much. Tonight I'm gonna go watch Joe Burrow. He actually, I think he played tonight. Let's go. Tonight we are doing spaghetti. Let's go.